We see 93% for Cloud9. Could this be the turning point where they come back? Looks like they're in good position to get this point. Tank mode coming out once again. It's the last push by EnVyUs. Death Blossom doing a lot of damage, but he goes down.
He took out Adam, though. He took out Adam. It doesn't matter. There will be no res here now for C9. Are getting the game. The era of overtalk is over. Lijiang Tower will be the first map in this set. It is going to be EnVyUs versus Cloud9. Two juggernauts of the scene rolling out. And we'll know the rosters in just a moment.
Yeah, it looks like so far for EnVyUs, we're going to have Internet Hulk on Winston, which is definitely believable. We have Tailspin on Pharah, also definitely believable. Taimu on Reaper, Chipson on Mercy, and Harry Hook on Lucio. We got Coco on Zarya. This looks like their lineup, let's be honest. And on the other side, we have a very, very similar lineup.
Yeah, looking at the lineup coming out here from the attackers of Cloud9, it is going to be Kai on the Zarya, Grego on Lucio, Adam on Mercy, Surefour on Reaper, Debit on the Winston, and Reaver going to be on 76. And not too surprising there coming out from the side of C9. Although Reaver, he used to be McCree in these situations. He is going to the 76, and they're not actually running a Pharah, so that might be a change-up for
the big difference. Yeah. It's basically the same lineup, except one side has the Pharah on Tailspin, who's a great Pharah, obviously, and then on the other side, Cloud9 on that Soldier.
And I think the reason why Reaver is switching here is that he did not have the great success Pharah v Pharah versus Seagull, and he does not want to take that Pharah v Pharah matchup versus Tailspin. So he's going to more hit scan here, looking for a pick, but Tailspin getting the first pick of the game, takes out Adam. That's going to be a huge early pick here for Envy that may set them up here for glory on this first point.
Yeah, he's doing a great job so far. It looks pretty even. They're trading blow for blow so far. As long as they can get that advantage, the point is going to unlock right now. We're going to see who's able to cap it. It looks like EnVyUs has a slight advantage here.
No, EnVyUs absolutely does have a slight advantage. Chipson is going to get Resurrection up first. Adam now just getting back to the fight. Envy getting the first cap. And Taimu, let's talk about Taimu for a second. His Reaper play yesterday was absolutely phenomenal, getting pick after pick. And he is just rushing into the C9 team, pushing them back, using Zarya's shield to his advantage. And C9 now having a little bit of trouble game position. And here comes the Death Blossom out. Taimu picks up both Reaver and Adam. No Resurrection on the menu here for C9. And Taimu coming at the big triple.
Yeah, he's doing a great job so far. That was just an amazing cue of the day. He's done a great job. He's still fragging too. He hasn't gone down yet. And he just needs to get on these wins. He's doing a great job getting on the tanks and taking out those key figures.
And good thing about Reapers too, they know how far to push things. Taimu pushed it all the way to 30 HP, used Wraith for him to get out, and that's the power of Wraith form, is that you are invincible, you can run back to your team, you can get healed, and it's really good. However, fireworks are about to be underway here. Both teams loaded with ultimates, and here comes the Graviton out from Coco. Tailspin with the barrage, immediately picking up 3 kills. There will be a resurrection coming in from Adam, but still a very good start to this fight. And here comes the counter Graviton from C9. 2 members are in this. Will they be able to turn their favor? Tailspin versus Reaver, not going to go down just yet.
You can see the movement in Tailspin. A lot of Pharahs have great rockets, but the difference is that movement, his concussion, constantly moving him around, sliding out of danger. He's at 50 HP, 16. He looks like he's going to go down, but not after doing a great amount of damage. Taimu picking up the slack, though, and taking out Reaver. That is the matchup we're going to see. Look at, they're just out-fragging them, to be honest. 70% to 0. EnVyUs is killing it right now.
Well, I think the real problem here for C9 is that Pharah is very, very good on a map like the Control Siren Lijiang, and they cannot run Pharah because they don't trust Reaver to win the Pharah v Pharah matchup versus Tailspin. And just on a matchup level, this gives Envy a huge advantage right now.
Yeah, and you do not want this right now as Cloud9, a team that has been dominating you so far, and you're already going to lose this first point. It's 91% to 0. We do see a lot of ultimates coming out. They could turn the tide, but Internet Hulk just showing up. They have so many tanks in their face constantly with that Zarya, with that Winston.
Saw Envy being a little bit more aggressive towards the end, not even letting C9 get overtime in progress. So that is going to be a very dominant cap of the round for Envy. And Envy now 1 round away from going up 1-0 over C9 in this best of 5.
Yeah, you just need this momentum. Cloud9 really need to change it up. It did not work for them. I think the Pharah was the big difference there, to be honest. I feel like Pharah did a great job, and you can see they're making adjustments already. EnVyUs saying, you know what, we're changing points. It's a little bit more open space. It's a little bit harder to hit those Pharah rockets. We're going to switch it up, and we're going to go to the Soldier. So they're going to have identical lineups here going into the second point.
Yeah, the reason why Pharah isn't coming into play here is because of the very long sightline. Soldier has very good long-range poking. It's not quite as good as, say, a Widow, but honestly, it can be incredible, and that's why Tailspin is switching to it, but both teams getting into it right now. We see Internet Hulk leaping right into the fray, but Surefour taking out time when the Reaper v Reaper battle, taking out Internet Hulk, and C9 out to 64 advantage. They're going to be able to push Envy all the way back, and oh no! The boom coming out from Harry Hook. See ya to Surefour, but this is still looking pretty decent.
Yeah,
For
Surefour
C9.
still did the damage that he needed, and they definitely have control of the center point, and it's just really hard on these maps. It seems like once you get that, that good ground, you're in the middle, it's hard to break them up.
The first cap of the round is going to go to C9. The lot off the play of Surefour. Surefour is getting right back into it, beating Tailspin's Pulse Rifle, though.
He's getting really low, but he's like not afraid to hold that shift. He just wants to wait a little bit longer, but he's gonna pay the price there, the iron price. He goes down to Taimu, and now all of a sudden, EnVyUs just cleaning up. Surefour doing what he can, but I don't know if it's enough. This is a great element from Zarya, though, and it looks like Surefour is actually going to clean up. This Winston's going to be in a lot of trouble going against a Reaper. You just never want to see that. As that monkey, you jump in, you see a Reaper, you're like, oh my, my time here is very limited.
C9 was really able to get in there. They got a good Graviton Surge out. Surefour had the follow-up, and C9 now looking much better on this round. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that, of course, you don't want to run fair on this round as much. But here comes the Graviton coming out from the side of Envy. They're trying to set things up. They're rushing in off of it. They don't get quite the value they're looking for. C9 really dealt with that pretty well. Now Surefour has the option of dropping a Death Blossom here if he finds the right moment, but Taimu took out Adam. That's a huge mercy pick. Here comes Surefour trying to turn things in his favor. Gets the double kill. But here's the thing of note here is that ChipsAgen is still alive, and he's going to have res in just a moment.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of just protecting their DPS. I feel like on the other side, EnVyUs, they just constantly have the tanks in the right place. They're getting the matchups that they want. They're keeping Winston's away from the Reapers a little bit better than Cloud9 are.
Well, Envy was able to turn that back in their favor. Still, at the very end, they are able to recontrol the round. They are getting on the board for the first time here. C9 now going to have the unenviable position of trying to move in here and retake. This is one of the harder control point maps where if you lose the middle, getting back in is pretty rough.
Yeah, both teams equal in ultimates almost. We only have the reses up. The reses haven't really come into play too much. I don't think I've seen a res this game. I think they should be a little bit more aggressive. Resing two men can definitely turn these fights around.
Well, they are going right now. We do have the Death Blossom coming in from Taimu. Taimu not getting as much as he wants. Immediately dies to Debit, but Tailspin in the back with the cleanup on the double kill here so far as Taimu just domes Kai. C9 getting picked apart here. They're just have to back out. Debit actually he chooses death instead, and that's a smart move.
The honorable route, man. Yeah, because you could definitely stagger him. A Winston's not going to be able to explode a character, so instead of killing him, you just wave. You're just spamming hello, spamming emotes at him because you know you got a mercy, you got your whole team backing you up. You definitely want to stagger them, and he knows they're going to do that. Immediately, just jumps off.
Round time right now coming in from both teams. They're all looking for Black Hole, but EnVyUs is the one that is feasting here. 2 kills there for them to start this out. Resurrection will come out for them to bring up the Fallen Heroes, but Envy keeping momentum, piles on immediately after the Resurrection.
The Soldier even jumps off or got smacks off by the Monkey, and now at this point they got to pull back. They know they cannot fight 3v6. This is the experience of a pro team. It's very high pressure here. They're already down 1 point. Cloud9 at 67%, EnVyUs at 71, and that is ticking very quickly.
C9 only has about one really good push left in them here. They're going to need to get a lot of value from Surefour and Reaver in this next fight. They will be the difference makers, but you look at Envy. Envy has ult up too.
Yeah.
So there is pretty much even an ult. Soundbear's going to go down for both teams, and here comes Taimu going into the back, getting all sorts of value off the Death Blossom, immediately eliminating the sound barrier more. Does take out Surefour. C9 still in the fight, still looking to get in here.
He had 19 HP. He's dropping back, but look how much damage he's taking from the Zarya. Kai doing a great job, actually picks him up. A res coming up for maybe the first time this whole battle. They're still holding on one side, but no, Adam goes down. He didn't have it anymore anyways, and this battle is just going horrible for Cloud9, and it looks like the first round, the first map is just going to go straight to EnVyUs, a clean 2-0. Definitely some contention. I feel like Cloud9 had a real opportunity on that second point, but all in all, EnVyUs seeming very much in control here.
In general, Envy was just winning the mechanical matchups that they needed to win. Clearly, I think on the first round, it was more of a gimme to them just because they were able to run Pharah, where C9 was not very comfortable running the Pharah. But matchups, in terms of rosters, were very even on the second point, and they just got a little bit more value. Tailspin and Taimu doing more in the back than Reaver and Surefour. And actually, I think the difference going in there, you look at everything that's going on, Surefour got plenty of value on the Reaper. He had great moments on the second round of Lijiang. Reaver did not really get as much done on the 76 as Tailspin did. Because you looked at how those fights broke down, it was really even between Taimu and Tailspin. They were both getting the kills they needed to do as the sort of the Bash Brother DPS combo of Envy. Whereas Surefour was trying to shoulder a lot of it, did have fights where he effectively won it on his own, was not getting quite the contribution that we expect from Reaver.
Yeah, I think Kai played pretty well as well.
Yes.
It's just Surefour, he can't do it by himself. I think for sure he's playing the best out of his team so far. He's definitely getting the frags that he needed. It's just, like you said, the composition and the matchups. I just see EnVyUs always getting the better matchup. You see the Winston that is jumping, you know, on the back line, getting on top of that Mercy, getting on top of that Lucio. And then on the other side, we just see EnVyUs' Reapers lining up with the Winstons, a lot of those tanky characters getting easy kills. It's tough to say what is going wrong for Cloud9 at this point, but they definitely going to have to change it up. I mean, they have a lot of maps to pick from. I think from this point, you just lost a Koth. You want to probably go to a payload. I wouldn't want to go back-to-back Koths where you just lost 2-0.
Yeah, I do think we might see a payload map, but we'll have to see what C9 decides to go to. I do think the lack of a fair thing is definitely going to dissuade them a little bit from that.
And that's the meta change that
and
we're
really,
talking
if you have
about.
to look at the full difference between the two teams, C9 in the past, Reaver is one of the best Widowmaker players in the game. He has phenomenal picks on Widow, and he was a huge part of C9's dominance. But right now in this current meta, he's not able to play Widow in nearly as many situations as he would like to. And now I think his play is still very good, but I do think it might be a little bit under some of the other DPS players that are switching on to 76 and other DPS just a little bit more fluently at the moment. Certainly the lack of Pharah is really hurting C9.
That's what comes with the meta, and that's the thing that pro players are going to have to adapt to. You need to have those deep character pools to go into.
Yes.
You know, it's constantly going to change. There's going to be a lot of patches, a lot of changes in the meta, and when you only play, you know, 1 or 2 heroes and they're super popular, and then that completely changes. You know, you have those McCrees, those Widows that were great last patch, and now the change comes, and we're seeing guys like Seagull, guys like Tailspin. They're the star players now. Even Minkachu on NG Red doing really well yesterday, and now it's just. You're running into the problem with poke loss. You're like the Genji main, you play nothing but pub games, Genji stomping kids, and then it's like, you know, if it changes a little bit, you gotta switch it up, man.
Right, and I think we'll see how C9 decides to go about it moving forward. Maybe they'll pick Gibraltar for the next map, just because Surefour's defense on Gibraltar was incredible, and he had really good looks there. I do think Envy is able to deal with it, but we'll just have to see. I do think for C9, their homework is certainly getting Pharah play on the same level, because just looking back to day 1, looking to day 2, where they don't even want to run the Pharah, the fact that they've been able to run that has been very rough for them against some of the better teams right now.
I think a lot of times when it comes down to those big team battles, it's just, you see one side doing really well when it's just constant chaos. If you're attacking, that's what you want. You want those chaotic matchups, but it doesn't look like we're going to see that just yet. Maybe next map. It does look like we're going into another King of the Hill map, and it's I don't know. I don't like this choice. I don't think this is a good choice for them, just losing a King of the Hill already.
I understand why they're doing Nepal here. Nepal is a bit more of a Tracer-friendly map, and they're going to be playing Reaver on Tracer, and Reaver actually does have a very good Tracer.
Yeah, but at the other side, you got Tailspin that can play Tracer too.
Sure, Tailspin is really good in Tracer, but I do think this is a more even matchup, though, because Reaver, between the two of them, Tracer-wise, I think it's very close. I like the matchup coming out here from C9 to go here, if that's how they're going to focus with more of a Tracer-style gameplay. I think this has potential. Obviously, it's going to be rough, but I understand now why they went to Nepal.
Yeah, mentally, as a team's perspective, I could see it too. You're kind of like, this is a completely different matchup, guys. Clean slate. This is going to be very different. We're going to have an even, you know, Tracer versus Tracer thing. We can't eliminate that threat of that Pharah. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to work out for them, but we'll see here soon. They're getting in the middle. We have pretty even lineups here, almost the same, actually exactly the same compositions for both teams.
Yeah, and this is where, of course, these teams have scrimmed on this a whole lot. They know that Tracer is a little bit more in vogue here on Nepal, and we'll see what both these Tracers have as Tailspin are now getting right into the fray, almost taking out Adam to start with. Only needs a little bit more damage. Reaver got taken out immediately by Harry Hook, as EnVyUs now, first 2 kills of the game. They're going to be moving forward. They have the momentum. They have the advantage. Tailspin takes out Debit, and this is going to be a clean capture here for EnVyUs.
Yeah, very clean play, and this Tracer, he's not getting up in this space. Obviously, as Tracer, you do a lot more damage the closer that you get, but you see that he's keeping distance, and he even used his blink. He just blinked back whenever the Reaper got too close, because he knows he can get one-shotted just like that, and you cannot drop a man in these situations. These battles happen so quickly, and look, he's a long-distance Tracer. He's not getting in there. Only when he sees the Mercy will he jump in there and do the damage that he needs to do.
Tailspin just being very smart. He's poking from range when he knows, and he will go in close when he knows that he has a better opportunity. Taimu right now getting a little bit in the Winston will force him back. Does have Death Blossom at the ready.
Both sides have Death Blossom. There's a lot of ultimates charged right now, but I definitely give them...
Their Death is going everywhere. Taimu, though, going to get the better. It gets the double kill, taking out Surefour and Grego. C9 going to use Res, Envy going to use Res. We've effectively reset the fight, and now after the fight reset, C9 doing pretty well. Chips is already down. They're moving forward. They're getting some of the picks that they need to get as Reaver now in the back line on the Tracer, looking to do whatever work he can do, but Tailspin will take out Reaver. And now Tailspin going off.
That's the Tailspin difference. He's just out-fragging him. It's a Tracer versus Tracer matchup, and we said, you know, this matchup's going to be different. It's going to be not Pharah versus Soldier 76, but even Tracer versus Tracer, Tailspin is on fire. The North American hope, maybe?
Tailspin is a great player. I go way back with Tailspin, all the way back to the Tribes era. And Tailspin is always, yes.
What is Tribes?
Oh my goodness, why? But either way, Tailspin is very, very good. He's very multi-talented. Even though he's known for projectile DPS, he is also incredibly good at hit scan.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can frag, man, you can frag, and that is exactly what's happening here. He's getting the jump every time on the enemy tracer. Throws the stick, he doesn't get it. That Winston bubble actually not doing much at all for him. It's not going to keep that damage inside. He's hunting this Mercy. Merciless, though.
Yeah, Reaver is able to take out Aaron and Hulk. C9 trying to turn this a little bit more in their favor. Tailspin in the back being
so
a bit of a pest, but we do have the Graviton Surge coming out from KaiKai on the point. KaiKai takes out Aaron and Hulk with this. Surefour the follow through, and C9 in good position here to take this. They are getting every kill in their favor. They are able to just win off of this Graviton Surge from KaiKai, but now 99-0.
They have to hold this to the end of times. They do not have any breathing move at all. They have to blow ults to hold it. At the same time, EnVyUs, they can just keep running in, dying, charging all their ultimates, and then go in there. 6 ults cannot be stopped.
So C9, they are going to hold here for the rest of this game. It is not impossible, but it is definitely difficult. Here comes Envy coming in over the top, speed boosting right in as Taimu right now getting to the back line, looking to get any value he can get. He takes out Adam off of that Russian. Taimu knew exactly where he was going, got the target. Now Mercy down. Envy in a great position. 2 kills here so far. No one will be res.
Tracer versus Tracer.
This is really
they're
good
gonna back off. Tracer versus Tracer is just a really hard matchup. It's so hard to kill them, but it looks like they're not even gonna need it. They drop the beat at this point, but how many members do you have up? Taimu is just destroying your whole team in the back lines. He is unchallenged DPSer. Oh, that Mercy trying to touch the point, using that shift ability on a poor soul on the ground, but it's not enough.
So we are going to move to the second round here on the Paul. C9 fighting for their life at the moment. They're not knocked out of the tournament if they lose on this next round, but they will have to do the reverse sweep, which seems very difficult indeed, where, again, just to sort of restate the point, I feel like the biggest point here where C9 is failing versus Envy is that Surefour is doing really, really well.
Yes.
Taimu is doing really well.
Yes.
Tailspin is doing very well. Reaver is not having the impact that he normally does, and I'm not sure why, but I feel like that is sort of the Achilles heel here for C9. But C9 going to go with a little bit of razzle-dazzle strategy here. El Presidente, Bastion himself, will be played by Surefour.
I love it. I think this strategy is exactly what they need. They need to mix it up. And look, the Winston's going to jump in. He's going to take a lot of damage. Taimu actually lining up as well. They're trying to dive El Presidente, but they can't get in there. He's being healed. He's got that Reinhardt shield. That's the difference. His composition is going to do great wonders for them. Oh, he barely gets picked off. If the heals weren't enough, I would have liked if they saw it in that nook a little bit longer.
Very possible. Envy's very good about getting in and around this right now, but C9, they are going to clean up the last few kills they need. Just Bastion did way too much damage to start the fight, and the Bastion pick working out here for C9, and I think Surefour will stay on Bastion up until the point where they lose this point, and then he'll switch off to something else.
Yeah, maybe get
like
his ultimate, do a tank, and then switch it up, you know, kind of be a little bit crazy. But this is a weird Koth map just because there's so much advantage in this high ground. You get this high ground, huge point in Overwatch. You basically just have so much range. I mean, it goes back to Modern Warfare ever since the beginning of days. Having that height advantage is going to do so much, and we can see it just there, getting that free frag on the Mercy.
Chips was exposed there, and Reaver did some great tracking to take him out. Tailspin note the bomb, immediately takes out Surefour. They're going to have to res to bring Surefour back in the fight. That is what they do immediately, but here comes attack visor from Reaver in the back line, gets killed by Coco. Both teams getting into quite the brawl here in the point. Defensive sound barrier
Tank coming out
from C9, and tank mode now in the house. And he's just getting knocked around here by Winston, but he's going to blow him up. High-grade artillery coming in from Surefour, and C9's going to hang on.
Yeah, Surefour, let alone, I think he got 3 or 4 frags there. Like, he is doing the damage that they need, and this Bastion's always a question mark. You peek a corner against a damage-boosted Bastion, you have half a second, maybe as a squishy character, to turn back, or you're dead.
I like the Bastion pick here. I think it gives Envy some matchup problems as they move in. Here comes the Graviton coming in. Harry Hook just gets caught in there. Counter Graviton coming in.
Oh, he's going to get that. Oh, he barely missed that Tracer, but he's going to get the damage, and it looks like he's going to go down. Actually, wow, what a great pulse bomb by Tailspin.
It was a great pulse bomb, but it was an even better res coming up from Adam, bringing up all those fallen heroes. Chips will get deleted here by Reaver, and C9 again just getting Envy right where they want them. They're getting the kills they need, and Envy having real trouble going in here. And one thing here, when it comes to res, every pulse bomb is probably going to be used versus Surefour while he's on the Bastion.
Yes.
But every res from C9 is going to be ready to go for there. So if you don't kill Adam, bombing the Bastion, while it does force out the res, it's not quite giving you as much as you might think.
It's an ult for an ult, right? At the end of the day, it's an ult versus an ult. And he even got 2 kills with that ultimate last time with that pulse bomb, and it's just not enough. We see 93% for Cloud9. Could this be the turning point where they come back? Looks like they're in good position to get this point. Tank mode coming out once again. It's the last push by EnVyUs. Death Blossom doing a lot of damage, but he goes down.
He took out Adam, though. He took out Adam. It doesn't matter. There will be no res here now for C9. Meanwhile, Chipsogen is still in this fight, still healing. We'll have an ult soon, but the pulse bomb coming out. The Coco with the follow through, and that is going to let Envy retake this point. And now the interesting thing for Surefour. Will Surefour switch off the Bastion?
He has to switch off at this point. I feel like once they have the point, they have that high ground. Yes, he has to switch to Reaper. But they have plenty of time here. They have the res still, and it looks like on the other side, EnVyUs only have 1 ultimate, and it's Monkey, one of the weaker ultimates in this composition, I would say.
It's a little bit weak, but it's also very good for stalling out on the point.
Staying on the Reinhardt
Here they go. They're moving
in.
They're just challenging Nag right now. They're pushing things back. Taimu having the Wraith form a little bit earlier there. C9 definitely with a good engage. Surefour, though, going to get knocked to the bottom. Still looking for pickoffs. Takes out Internet Health, but Tailspin was able to kill Adam early in this fight. Adam is down, and that is going to spell very bad odds here for C9, as the resurrection from Chips could come in at any point.
You see that Earth Shatter come down. He takes out 1 member, actually charges. That Reinhardt doing good amount of damage, but he does go down. He just doesn't have the mobility. He can't actually hit the characters that he needs to hit, and looks like 50% for EnVyUs. Maybe Cloud9 have 1 more push, 2 more pushes. I would love to see the Reinhardt change out. It looks like they're probably going to change it up. It's just not a useful character without that president.
Yeah, Reinhardt you don't see used all the time. King of the Hill can be okay, but Reinhardt, where compared to the payload, where Reinhardt is all the time, King of the Hill you do usually see him only with the Bastion. But here comes the Graviton coming out from both teams. Everyone going to get the group hug treatment, but Tailspin, the pulse bomb Wombo takes out 4 people from the Zarya setup. Envy read C9 like a book, and they took them out. It's time right now with the Death Blossom just to make sure.
Yeah, they used a lot of ultimates there, but at this point, you got to use everything that you have. 82% versus Cloud9 at 99. They were so close. They need this point so bad. It's so demoralizing. Basically, you're right there. You're going to take a little bit of ground, and now you're going to actually lose it at 99%. Oh, man. And they got to keep hold of their Mercy. They keep losing Adam. That's the key factor in these fights.
Tailspin's been able to get on Adam and really neutralize a lot of these fights.
He barely touched it at time. And it's 99
He definitely
versus
had
99.
to sacrifice his life immediately. Taimu getting 2 kills here. Surefour at the Death Blossom, trying to put this away and come back. He does get 3 kills. Resurrection coming in. Big Pulse Bomb stick from Tailspin. Eliminates Kai, and Tailspin now on the prowl. The fight has devolved a little bit, and this is where Tracer is so good. Able to duel people left and right, and Envy will maintain control. They bring it back on round 2, and EnVyUs now up 2-0 over Cloud9.
The mindset for Cloud9 right now in these matches, I can't even imagine.
Well, I do think both teams are still playing pretty well. I think what really, it might seem like a minor thing, but it's really not. I think right now, you look at their DPS players, Taimu and Tailspin are both doing incredible things.
Yes.
Reaver did have really good moments on the King of the Hill map there, and that's why they were able to go through.
Yes.
But overall, I think Reaver's been having a little bit of a weaker weekend, and it comes everything to do with the meta changes, because more often than not, Reaver was on McCree and Widow. Those are the 2 heroes that he had the most game time on, the most practice, and he was phenomenal at them. But now that he can't go McCree on King of the Hill, he can't go Widowmaker in a lot of situations because a lot of teams don't like it, even though God's shown that it can be pretty effective. I feel like C9 is not fully adapted to that just yet.
I can't agree more. And I think at this point, we saw them, what was the most successful point they had? It was the last point. You know, a very unique situation where they ran that Bastion, they ran that Reinhardt, and they mixed it up. Their composition was clearly very different than their opposition. And I think that's what they need to do. They need to have that X factor, because as you said, when you line them up on paper, you know, the 2 DPSs versus the 2 DPSs, 2 of them for EnVyUs on fire. Cannot be stopped. They are just fragging out of their minds. And then on the other side for Cloud9, you have Surefour. You can line it up pretty perfectly with the other side, and he's doing very well. But that second DPS, he's just not. He's not there.
And again, this is just where you see the effect of a meta shift and what it can do to a team where you run Widow, McCree all the time, and then now you can't run it all the time, or you just don't think it's good enough. And it's difficult for teams to adjust, especially if they've gotten enough play time. C9, though, is still an incredible team, and I would not count them out just yet. And it looks like the map coming up in just a moment will be Watchpoint Gibraltar.
We would love to see this, too. I think Surefour shined really well, especially in the second defense on top of that shuttle. And I think, like, from C9's perspective, I just don't think they've had the time to adapt. You need either Reaver to learn those key characters, or at the same time, you have to play around that Widow. Widow is such a character that you really need to build a composition around them. That's your star player. You're gonna actually get those picks, or you're not, and then it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be tough if you can't get them.
If Envy was watching the matches that were going on yesterday, and they almost certainly were, they will know that when they get to the hangar phase on Gibraltar versus Surefour, what's going to happen is that they need to deal with him to begin with. Now, I'm curious to see how they're going to deal with that. Either they're just going to try and go in as a team and try and attack the high ground together and try and mitigate the amount of time that he has to deal with it, or maybe they do try for something tricky. Maybe Taimu says, look, I got this. We'll go on Widow and try and take him out. I do think it's one of the harder things to deal with in that hangar phase, and how Envy attacks it will be very interesting. Will it be flashy? Will it be something special like a Widow? Or will they just sort of run in and just get the good mechanical picks that they need? I'm curious to see how that matchup will play out.
At the end of the day, they're competitors, they're professionals. You either show up or you don't show up, you know? And if they're not going to show up, they're going to lose, and that's it. That is the bottom line here, and I think Cloud9, it's time to step up. I think if they can get a point, if they can get that momentum, they can definitely play against EnVyUs, but they just don't, like, how demoralizing is it to play the same team, you know, over and over again and lose to them over and over again, and then you barely have it in your grasp. You have 99%, and then everything just falls apart.
Well, even if C9 does go down here, and it has been not the greatest week for C9 relative to what we've seen from them prior to this week, it's still a decent learning experience. I feel like one thing in esports is that it's one thing to win, but you also have to learn how to lose, and C9 has been so good that they just haven't lost at all. So even if they're not able to pull it back here against Envy, and who knows? I mean, I still think they do have a good chance of pulling it back if they dig deep and find where they need to go. But even if they're not able to do that, I think C9 is going to come out of things a much stronger team in the future.
I'm not buying into this, man. There's winners and there's losers. And if you're a loser, you're a loser, all right? That's just how it is.
At some point, everyone loses, though. You have to learn to deal with losing. And you have to get that experience out of the way at some point. And also, once you have that on your track record, you go, okay, look, we need to maintain focus. Otherwise, remember that week where things didn't go our way? That can happen, and that can be extra motivation.
Yeah, but you're like coming from a standpoint like everybody gets a gold star, great job, guys. Like, let's just do our best. I'm coming from it like this should be a big change. Like, if you lose and you keep losing, it's like something is not right. You need to, like, as a professional player, they beat themselves up. They're like, I'm pissed that I played not up to par. And then that's the motivation, that hunger, that need to be a winner, not a oh, we did bad, but we can kind of work through it. I want that rage, man.
But you lose some of the fire and sort of the need to say, okay, we need to set these practice hours, we need to do X, Y, and Z, we need to be on top of it if you've just been dominating everyone for weeks and weeks, which is what C9 has been doing. Going into this week, before the monthly that happened a little bit ago, before the ONOG tournament in the weekend, before, of course, the Invitational that we're casting right now, they really were not getting beaten by anyone for any reason. They were on a huge winning streak, so this week has been sort of a wake-up period for C9, and again, the meta change definitely not doing them any favors.
When you're on top, it's easy, man. It's the best to be on top, but then you get lazy, man. You get the money, you get the girls, you get everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? What was that?
It's just like, you get everything. Anyways, what's it called? We are just waiting right now for both teams to get on the map. I believe one of the teams, someone need to go AFK from it, but it does look like we are getting in here. It's going to be C9 versus EnVyUs here.
Yeah, man. They needed, I really like, hey, man, I need 5-10 minutes. I need to go splash some water on my face because this is rough, man. He's thinking about his life.
Well, the interesting thing here, looking at the rosters as they roll out here for the C9 side, is going to be Surefour on the 76, Kai on the Roadhog, Grego on Reaper, Debit on Winston, Adam on Mercy, Reaver will be going on the Pharah, and this is, again,
Pharah versus Pharah.
It's going to be a rough matchup to go against Tailspin's Pharah here, and we'll see if he can dig deep and find what he needs to do to win that matchup. Meanwhile, looking at the Envy squad, will be Tailspin on Pharah, Coco on the Roadhog.
Observer, get away from that. Blizzard is watching. We do not want those booties in our face. You don't, dude, don't get the booty nerf. I'm all about it. Like, can we keep them?
Taimu will be on the Widowmaker, Harry Hook on the Lucio, Internet Hulk on Winston, and Chips will be on the Mercy. So Taimu going to try and take a page out of God's book here and say, look, I still want to do Widow, but hang on. Is he going to, he might switch.
Woo.
I'm not convinced he's staying
Dude,
on
you're
it.
focused too much. I can't, oh, okay, nah. Genji's got a cute booty too. Great booties, Blizzard, well done. You don't care at all, huh?
Right now, I'm avoiding the topic.
Nah, I'm not. I don't care. I love it. Yeah, we're seeing a great damage here, though, from Tailspin. Distant Rockets getting a lot of hits on the other side, just that splash damage. But it looks like the Mercy got tagged a little bit behind him. You can see next to that blue arrow on the left side, his Mercy's health. So he knows, you know, can I fly in? Can I not fly in? Is my Mercy in trouble? Turn around, frag somebody that's flanking maybe. So far, so good. They've done a great job of hiding this Genji. Could be that X factor.
Well, he's going to get hooked right in and taken out by Devitt to start things out here. Taimu will be down. The offense down one player. They're still going to poke through here for a little bit. In fact, Harry Hook does take out Devitt, so now 5v5. They do have the ability to be a little bit more aggressive. In fact, Taimu will be back in the fight a little bit earlier, but again, one person to watch here, of course, will be Surefour, and it's not quite the hanger phase, but a 76 in the back can still be absolutely deadly on this part of Gibraltar.
Yeah, and they have very mobile forces here. We do not see those Reinhardts, a very common thing on payload maps. But Gibraltar being this first point, the spread out dynamic of it is how many levels and jumping you need. I think the Winston choices are really good here, but can you get in there? Can you do the damage and can you block them? Kai so far has done a great job on Roadhog.
Kai definitely doing pretty well. Roadhog, we have seen him get more into the meta as of late, which is why both teams are running them here. And you see Roadhog really in the place that McCree used to be before the nerf. He's sort of your hero that can get a quick pick or eliminate someone from the game in a way that you used to see McCree do, but McCree has a lot more trouble doing.
I don't know. Is it going to be enough? They've been fragging lately. It looks like EnVyUs is actually having a lot of trouble getting on this high ground. You can see the payload still stuck underneath, and they just aren't getting the kills. Cloud9 doing a great job thus far.
The thing here for Envy that you have to be afraid of, though, is that they're going to have a triple threat here in terms of ultimates. Not only, of course, Holog, which should be very good at making space, but Barrage and Dragon Blade are going to be coming up here. And this is where Envy has a very big chance, because what's going to happen is that both, here comes the Taimu Dragon Blade coming in, and they're being very aggressive, moving in. Taimu takes out Surefour, gets rid of the problem to start out this fight. Taimu slicing and dicing, looking for the double kill. Tailspin with the Barrage, takes out 3. And that's where
is it enough though?
The Resurrection came in from Adam in the middle of it. There's not quite a one fight yet.
Yeah,
so the Resurrection might be turning it back in C9's favor despite a very good opening from Envy.
Yeah, that was a great Resurrect. He died right afterwards, so the timing was wonderful. And hey, at the end of the day, they still have that payload stop. They can still gather up their troops. They're all together. They haven't taken damage. Great hold. All in all, great hold. Look how many ults were wasted on EnVyUs' side.
The thing for Envy is that they might have been a little bit better suited waiting off for the sound barrier to come in as well, because that would have given just a little bit extra surviving power. But here we go, offensive sound barrier on the way. They're going in for another shot. Winston Gang into the back line. Both teams still at full, looking for the all-important first pick, but Surefour will take out Taimu. His 76 absolute point. Reaver raining in the damage from above. Coco will take him out of the air. So 5v5 right now between both teams. Both Mercies are up. Both Mercies have res, but Adam was taken out. And now this is a huge opportunity for Envy because they still have chips up.
Yeah, and that Pharah doing so much consistent damage. Finally going down to Tibet, jumping on top of him, barely getting him, but hey, they got the payload. They're going to get this first checkpoint, but on to phase 2 soon enough. They're going to have that hangar room to navigate, and that's going to be a tough push for them.
The biggest difference there is that Tailspin is able to get to the back, the rest of his team, take out the Mercy, and Chips, though he died towards the end, he was able to get his Resurrection off, which Adam was not, and now Envy, off of that play, they're moving in. They're staggering the C9 deaths, and they are moving in, and they're just going to keep moving in, and we might even see a Dragon Blade soon. We'll see how aggro timing once again. I think it might be a little bit
risky
better
call. Yeah. You could definitely pull it out. You could get 1 or 2 kills, but you're so close to the spawn, there's no point. Basically, what you want to do is get that high ground and make sure that Cloud9 can't get set up. As we said, Surefour on top of that shuttle, they can get their full team up there. It's going to be hard to get them out. But look how it is right now. The red team, the attacking side, actually have control of that high ground, and Cloud9 are having a very difficult time getting on top.
C9 has not gotten the defensive positioning they need right now. Envy has done a good job of denying it. Kai, though, will take out Taimu. This is going to let C9 be a little bit more aggressive with his defense. Tailspin, though, in the back, causing all sorts of issues. Takes out Surefour, gets rid of the problem. The Resurrection coming in immediately. He's going to have to do it once again. Lands 1 rocket, has Barrage at the ready, but only 15 HP. As Reaver and Surefour will mop up Tailspin and company. But the important thing to note here is Envy was getting really good payload pushing as all that was going on.
Yes, they basically have the payload underneath the shuttle. They still have to walk through the whole hangar, so they can be fragged out, but knowing that shuttle so far, they win one team fight, they're going to be able to push it past this, and that third checkpoint is a lot easier than this hangar.
All right, well, Envy right now, they do have a lot of ultimates on deck. They're just going to be rushing right in, but Reaver taking out Tailspin, winning that Pharah v Pharah battle. Sorely needed here from Reaver. Now 6v5 in favor of C9. The sound barrier is going away. Devitt going to take out Chips with the aid of Reaver. And this is pretty good here coming out from C9, but Taimu does get into the back line, getting a few kills, but it will not be enough. The C9 will win this fight.
Yeah, and that's what they need. They need to win that Pharah vs. Pharah. They need Reaver to show up, and he showed up huge there. That was a long distance rocket. He cleaned him up really well, and then as soon as he does that, the whole team falls apart. Reaver can do that over and over. They will win these team fights, and they can hold EnVyUs here. This so far is the best Cloud9 we've seen versus EnVyUs so far today.
Yeah, this is C9 definitely looks a little bit reinvigorated here. They do have to be careful though because Envy did not burn too much away. Also, they burned Sound Barrier, but not a whole lot else. They do have Dragon Blade and Barrage ready, but Reaver doing a good job just keeping the Rockets in here, being a huge problem. And Tailspin going down to Reaver and Surefour. And now, look at Reaver, he's hunting chips. Here comes the Barrage. Will he delete Mercy? Mercy's still alive somehow. I don't even know how, but there she is. And C9 looking pretty good. Yeah,
those 2 great hits. Look at that third, fourth hit. He's getting body shot after body shot. Look at this damage, even knocking off Henry.
Oh my God, Reaver! The Dream gets the extra hit on there, even though Lucio doesn't die. Still styling a little bit, and C9 doing pretty well to hang on there. And Reaver definitely turning up in a way that he did not in the first 2 maps in the series.
Yeah, he's definitely finding his place on this Pharah. EnVyUs on the other side, they're unsure of what to do. They're definitely hitting a wall here. They switch it up. They went the Reinhardt, and now they actually switch back to the Roadhog. They're not together. They don't know what to do. As soon as they got this high ground, they're completely baffled.
Really, Envy has not dealt with it all that well at all. They also haven't used Sound Barrier in combination with Dragon Blade and Barrage at any point either. I feel like it'd be good if they let all those 3 ults get in together.
They're pushing heavy though.
They're ignoring C9 right now, getting onto payload, pushing things forward. 2 kills up for C9 as they go forward, and this is oh my goodness, the sneak is successful. C9 did not get onto the payload in time. What a mistake!
They killed 3 members too. They actually picked off 3 members. But they just did not. That is a rookie mistake. They are kicking themselves right now, knowing that they had half the team dead, and they just let that shuttle sneak past them.
And particularly because that changes the spawn points, and it's harder to defend this last corridor than it is to defend the hangar. And it's not like they lost that team fight. They just needed to get a tank or someone on it earlier. So now C9, big mistakes coming out from them. And look at the ultimate situation now for Envy. Dragon Blade Sound Barrier is on the way. Still though, Tailspin will go down from long-range rockets from Reaver. Envy trying to get into it, but they are down a key member. And here comes the Dragon Blade. But immediately killed.
Be enough. Yeah, Reaver's doing a great job still on this Pharah. Look how close he is to this back line. He gets the Mercy. Oh, barely gets him. Gets 2 or 3 kills, takes out both supports, and hey, this is what they needed. They needed Reaver to show up, and he is showing up huge in this 3rd round.
Reaver is having much better play here on payload than he was having at King of the Hill. He really had things rough getting started. Maybe there's distractions going on, or maybe just needed time to warm up. But Reaver has really come alive here in the 3rd map and has been the difference maker for C9 and giving a formidable defense to the Envy squad.
Yes, he's done so much damage, fragging really well, but on top of that, just look at the rain of death he's bringing down on his opponents. And they're just constantly getting picked. Surefour, of course, being very consistent, but at the same time, you see the difference that we were talking about. Reaver is all over them, doing so much consistent
Dragon Blade coming up from Taimu after the resurrection. Taimu takes out Surefour to start out, has the double kill, slicing and dicing, looking for a little bit more, is going in, has Reaver in his sights, deflects into Reaver. Reaver trying to use elevation to his advantage, not going down just yet, but Envy all over the payload. This is still not good for C9.
Yeah, he got 1 tick. He's about to go down. He's got to be low here. He could be touched, and he might die. Surefour trying to get on that point. It's almost there. It's only 5 meters away. They cannot make the same mistake they did before. He's going to pop his ult, but he's only going to get 1, and it looks like Adam's just trying to buy time, hiding behind that shuttle. I don't know. Harry Hook actually cleaning him up, and it looks like they might get
time for Lucio to get on there at the very least.
Lucio's so hard to hit. He's slippery.
Down. And now this is C9. They're going to be streaming in.
He booped him away. You see that? He barely got it, and he just got pushed away. And now EnVyUs, an okay time. Not completely dominant, but at the same time, losing that second point.
For Envy, it's not a bad time. They would have preferred faster, but really, the biggest problem is C9 with the tactical mistake, letting Envy just go forward and bring the payload forward under their nose. It was absolutely not what C9 needed, because they could have potentially had a full hold in the hangar, but Reaver, this was his redemption game. He definitely had a much stronger look here on Gibraltar than he looked all throughout the series. So good on Reaver, coming alive, being the 2nd main DPS for C9, supporting Surefour, and now C9 has a very good chance of turning this around and winning Gibraltar.
Yeah, and you could see that in the card. He got 71 direct hits, and that was only about 20-something% of his rockets. So you can imagine those other rockets are still going to be doing damage, you know, that splash damage that's going to happen consistently. He did so much. I for sure could see a lot of gold medals for him at the end of that.
No, absolutely. I would say Reaver probably had golds in every category. Even though 76 does put in a lot of damage, Reaver did so much work.
Yes.
is something that I do think
But
happened.
what they needed, that gold medal that they really needed, objective time. They needed to block. I mean, they played so well, and it seems like that's the common place, even on the King of the Hill map, where they get 99%, they do a really good hold, and then it's just like they just fall apart. It's like one thing goes wrong, and then it just completely unravels.
Yeah, and again, for C9, that's not a mistake you want to make, although we have seen teams do get snuck on before, of course. It's not super common in Overwatch. I'd say it happens like maybe once a month, but when it happens, it's huge, and it's just not a mistake you want to make, especially when C9 did have such a good defense going on in the hangar. Either way, though, C9 did defend for quite a long time. They have given their offense a lot of chance here as they move forward against EnVy. We'll have to see what the EnVy defense has in store for us. We are moving to the second round of Gibraltar, and taking a look here at this EnVy defense. It is going to be Internet Hulk on the Winston, Tailspin on Pharah, Taimu on Roadhog, Coco on Reinhardt, Chips on the Mercy, and Harry Hook going to be on the 76. And I just got to say, Harry Hook has been great filling in on 76.
Yes.
He's been a rock for EnVy, and even though he's usually known for his Lucio play, his ability to just get 2 kills, 3 kills for EnVy, while people are focusing on, say, Tailspin or Taimu, has been absolutely great for EnVy in this meta.
Yeah, being able to play those different roles is definitely important. I mean, we saw him at the end of that last point. The reason they got that final cap is basically because he booped that soldier away, which doesn't seem like a big thing. It's not very flashy. You're not going to show up on the kill board, but those small positional things are huge as a Lucio player, and you're primarily going to be a lot of shot callers as well, like team captains that are going to make those decisions and choose when to go in are from those Lucio players.
Well, here we go. C9 deciding to gamble a little bit here. They're going to have Surefour on the offensive Hanzo. Kai, never mind. He's switching off. Disregard. He switches to the Genji at the last moment. So Surefour on the Genji, Kai on the Winston, Grego on the Lucio, Debit on Reinhardt, Reaver on the Pharah, and Adam on Mercy. So here comes the offense of C9. We'll see how they deal with this almost crossfire-esque defense coming up from
Did you see that? He went for that jump hook. They're trying it. They're definitely styling. I think EnVyUs are very confident here. Cloud9, they're a team that either gets momentum or doesn't. They're either going to destroy and set like a really good pace, or they're not even going to get the second point. That's what I'm going to call. They're not going to get through hangar, or they're going to set an insanely fast time.
All right, so C9, they are moving forward. They do get the first checkpoint. But EnVyUs, not to be deterred right now, just very comfortable with their positioning. It's going to be up to C9 to make something happen here.
Yeah, the big difference here is that we got the Reinhardt this time on the defense, and still no Reinhardt for Cloud9. Gibraltar's a very big map. There's a lot of cliffs, a lot of height advantages. So I can see the reasoning behind keeping those Winstons, but Reinhardt versus Reinhardt battle here going to be really tough, something we didn't see in the last matchup too often.
Reinhardt being Reinhardt, of course, a staple of payload maps when it happens. Both Reinhardts look for position, look for the right opportunity.
He almost got
now, looking for the mid-air kill, doesn't quite get it. Surefour right now going in deep, doesn't want to go in just yet. Harry Hook didn't take out Kai, and here comes the Earth Shatter from the offense of C9.
Great.
Debit laying down the hammer, a little bit of follow-up coming in, but EnVy dealing with this pretty well. They're not really getting wiped out or anything like that. And they do have the resurrection coming from him, and here comes the Dragon Blade from Surefour. Surefour looking to put an end to this right now, has Mercy in the sight. Chips got the res off, though, before Surefour could slice her down the side.
Yeah, and at the same time, Reaver going to go down to Tailspin. It looks like they're just one kill behind every time. And that's going to be the difference in these big team fights. It just kind of an effect of dominoes. You know, one guy goes down, it's that much easier for the other team just to push that advantage. And they need to die out here. I don't feel like they can get it at this point.
Here comes the barrage from Tailspin. Justin ran for above. Only 35 HP. Surefour throws a shuriken into her, stops the barrage. But the resurrection will be coming out here.
I think they can get it. Cloud9 with that resurrection, it's definitely worth it. Adam goes down, but they're at 5 men still, and they're still walking from spawn. A lot of the members from EnVyUs being staggered. It looks like they could win this. That Earth Shatter coming down only to get 1 member. Gets a second, though. Kills Taimu with that charge, and C9, they might break them. It's really close.
C9's moving in. They will start the hangar phase. Things did go their way. The resurrection at the end, even though Mercy ended up dying right away after, it still worked out in their favor. And now Surefour trying to get control on the hangar. This is where he's going to be aided by Kai. You don't want the defense to set up on the hangar if you can help it.
Yeah, same scenario, but I don't feel like they staggered them as much. But they still got that first point a lot quicker. Going down to Internet Hulk there is really rough.
Internet Hulk does go in, takes out Surefour. And now the defensive EnVy is going to be able to stabilize. C9 just has to back out here. They can't throw good money after bad, but that knockback on the Debit, he tried to charge away, hit the wall instead. So a little bit of disruption coming out there from Tailspin.
And this is what I'm talking about. I feel like Cloud9 is going to be able to bust in there, get the point, or they're going to lose here. It's make or break. And of course, if they lose this point, it's over. That's it. They're going to the 3rd, 4th place match, and that's not somewhere you want to be.
No, absolutely not. In C9, they do have expectations. They do want to go forward here. They do want to beat EnVyUs this time. But take a look at Surefour. He does have Dragon Blade at the ready. He's done so much here in this situation. Reaver coming in with Barrage. The defense of EnVy about to be tested. And Surefour, will the Dragon Blade be out? Here's the sound barrier. And right now, they're just looking for the opportunity. They don't do a whole
They're
lot
not
with the
getting
sound
in
barrier.
there. They got to get in there. If you're going to do that sound barrier, you need to attack.
Adam
you need
is
to be
dead.
in their face. And now Adam goes down. They're going to pop the Earth Shatter in the back. Surefour getting good frags, but at this point, you're so far behind in almost every element. You're pushing the payload, I guess, for what it's worth.
They're sneaking it a little bit. They're not looking
I don't know,
at it.
but it's not 2 or 3 members. It's only Surefour, and they got a while to go.
Here comes the Barrage from Tailspin, looking for the cleanup. Justice raining, picking up the double, making it a triple. Tailspin finding the right opportunity to just put the nail in the coffin on that C9 attack. And this is where, again, teams have really gotten better at their hangar defense.
They pushed it, though. The payload was pushed a good amount. If they could do that once or 2 more times, it would be good enough. But I don't feel like they're going to fall for the same trick that they got away with against C9. They're not going to let him sneak it.
All right, well, Surefour, though, he does have the Dragon Blade at the ready. He wasn't able to combo too well with the Sound Barrier last time. Did not see the opportunity they needed, but C9, they are being aggressive. They're going in. The barrage going in from Reaver. Tailspin, though, giving a rocket in turn to Reaver's face. Reaver gets absolutely nothing off that. And this is looking pretty good for Envy here as this fight begins.
Yeah, and I feel like once that one pig comes down, especially on the Pharah, actually, Pharah going down to Surefour, that's kind of surprising. That's not being in the position that he needed to be in this ultimate coming out aimbot for that soldier. He just doesn't have enough to take him out. They got to have to group up again.
Envy went a little bit over aggro there with defense. It could have worked out badly. There was Rez being dropped immediately. Rez, Sound Barrier coming in, and here comes the Dragon Blade from Surefour. Surefour looking to get an opportunity. Does take out Coco, looking for a little bit more. Takes out Internet Help as Reaver with the fall through. 4 people are dead, including Chips. There will be no resurrection coming out here from the defense. This is what C9 needs, and they still have 4 minutes to complete this map.
They got another kill. Yeah, Surefour did a great job there, and this is make or break. I'm saying it right now. C9 are going to take this map. I think they're going to steamroll past EnVyUs on this last point. Look how staggered they are. They're being aggressive. This is the momentum that they needed, and they're pushing in. They might even get this Mercy. Can he finish her? He actually finishes her. This is great by C9. They're just shoving that payload right down their throats. Surefour is on fire. They cannot touch him. He is a slippery ninja.
They were shoving him through, but they also lost some people in the same way. EnVyUs is a little bit staggered, but they're not staggered to the point where I'm not sure Surefour can go in and be that. But he does get Coco in the end. So now, a little bit better here. Envy, though, will have an ability to get back up here and restabilize, so long as they don't do anything too crazy. But Surefour now going in. He is going in the 76, is getting healed, has to back out a little bit, almost dies.
And they lost the member. Grego did go down there. But look how fast that payload's pushing. Surefour did a great job there. It looks like there's going to be a lot of ultimates in this fight. We're going to have a bigger team fight. Surefour can't do it all himself, and his team's getting actually pushed back by Internet Hulk, doing a great job of just zoning them and then coming back, creating that space. They want to fight 6v6. That's where EnVyUs shine. Cloud9, they want those single battles. They want that chaos, and they're not going to get it. Kai actually going down, Roadhog for Roadhog. And now they got to wait. They got to group up. I think Cloud9's going to do it, man. They have a great time thus far. They just got to get this last leg.
Maybe C9 will be able to do it. Envy has really stalled out teams for a long time here before. They've had some truly epic defenses on this final point. I think C9 has a good opportunity here with about 3 minutes or so remaining in the map, but I would not count on Envy here. Envy also has a lot of defensive ults at their disposal, so barring something really crazy coming out from C9, Envy should be able to take the next fight on ult power alone, but every now and then teams do win when disadvantage on ults, we'll just have to see, but Envy doing a good job of keeping C9 back and buying themselves a whole lot of time.
They're not pushing in. They're just sitting behind blocks. They're getting pushed back by this Pharah. Like, they need to choose go in or fall back. But wasting this time, this is valuable time. At least make them burn ults or something. It seems like we have about 2 minutes left. They have enough time to do it for sure. But
they're
they
coming in, Reaver eating 1 rocket, almost seeing the double rocket as Coco coming in. Absolutely clean up the Earth Shatter, picking up 3 kills. The Resurrection being forced out. Here comes the Sound Barrier. Surefour trying to turn tides here with the Dragon Blade. 3 kills here for C9. Tailspin, though. Barrage over the top. There will not be another res for the offense, but the defense, Chips with the Resurrection. They're going to go right back in on C9. And the ultimates really turning that in Envy's favor, and that's what I was expecting. That's why
that first battle,
C9 need to go in a little bit earlier just to make Envy blow all their ults.
Make them burn it, reset, maybe you have 2 more pushes, but on the other hand, they really only have 1 strong push maybe. If they can stagger them, possibly they'll get 1.5, it'll turn into chaos, but at this point, 6v6, this is their time to shine because those ultimates were burned.
Time-wise, there's only about a minute left here in the fight, so C9 really under the gun. They were not able to get through last wave 1, and the Sound Barrier from the defense really setting them up as they move forward, being highly aggressive, but Envy does need to be careful. They don't want to go too aggro, and here's what they did. C9 got 3 quick kills. C9 is going to have the Resurrection, bring up their fallen hero, so now Envy making this very, very close. About 25 seconds left here in the match.
They got 50 seconds. They got about 50 seconds. They can do this. 45 seconds now. It's definitely possible, but they need to create this chaos, and this is the chaos that they're getting. They're Farah for Farah. Oh, but not enough. Taimu actually going huge here. He switched to Tracer. Very interesting choice.
Yeah, things are working out. Taimu on defensive Tracer is absolutely pest. 4 kills here. 30 seconds officially remaining right now.
They gotta go.
And I don't think C9 can do this. At this point, Envy is going to be able to stall in the cart because even if they get full wipe on the Envy, they're going to go through the final stall phase. So Envy going to withstand the C9 assault here. They're going to win this map 3-0. And C9 going to get knocked into the 3rd, 4th place match. What a defense by Envy at the end.
Yeah, they have 5 seconds left. It's just not going to be enough. We see the GGs coming out as they're wiped, and unfortunately, Cloud9 going to fall to EnVyUs 3-0 here. EnVyUs, as we said, being extremely dominant.